Big Boss Jock Radio Show. Analyst assessment. Video clip. Pence visits 2 migration detention centers in Texas. ABC News. Clip is 2 minutes, 46 seconds. As the video clip starts out, pay attention to the computer generation. Understand, listener, that the dialogue is not genuine. It's placed with a computer. Pointed out will be the trickery. Listen to the wording.
Next, as immigration agents prepare for...
Next, as immigration agents prepare for... It should be next, as U.S. immigration officials prepare for... U.S. immigration. Every country has immigration.
Sweeping raids across the country.
Sweeping raids across the country. Sweeping raids across the United States of America.
Vice President Mike Pence came face-to-face with the border reality.
Vice President Mike Pence came face-to-face with the U.S. border reality. Every country has borders.
Visiting 2 migrant detention facilities.
Migrant detention facilities. When spoken about our prisons, are they the felon prison facilities? No. I happen to be in the state of California. They're the state of California correctional facilities. They're not the felon correctional facilities. Such as, it should be U.S. immigration detention facilities. Who's responsible for the detention center? The U.S. immigration authorities.
In Texas, seeing dozens of men in holding pens called...
Seeing dozens of men in holding pens. I'm repeating the words of the reporter. Look at the computer-generated actions, people, at 013. They're not spontaneous. The computer has the man move, look up into the camera, the one in the middle of the group. The actions aren't spontaneous. Those detainees might actually be in the detention center, though it's not necessary to make the clip. What's true? Difficult to say, to define, unless one is there to see for themselves. The computer, they just need the images. They can select images, move them around, put facial gestures, movements. It's obvious. Look at the group. That's not spontaneous, the movements.
In this quote, very tough stuff.
The man behind waves his hand and then points to the one that's in the middle of the group with the lighter colored jacket. That movement at the last quarter second before it goes to the next clip was not genuine, was not spontaneous. Plays on the psyche of the viewer. Next image at 015. Green to the pink, sexual stimulation programming. The sign in the middle serves as pink, faded red. The shirt on each side, turquoise, serves as green. Green to the pink, green to the pink, find the pink. That's what they think, the viewer. Sexually stimulated to each theme.
It comes as thousands rallied against those coming raids. This protest in Chicago. ABC.
As thousands protest the illegal migration raids. They're illegal migrants. If the proper term is used, illegal migrant, well, the raid doesn't seem very abusive because the migrant entered the country illegally. They broke the law. There are consequences, such as deportation.
This is David Wright reporting from the White House tonight.
As ICE prepares to
As U.S. ICE prepares
round up thousands of undocumented immigrants Sunday.
Should be thousands as they round up thousands of illegal migrants, termed undocumented migrants, which is all right. It's better than migrant, but it isn't as efficient as illegal migrant. When a person behaves illegally, there's a consequence to pay.
I knew we would.
This is tough stuff. People never use the word stuff when making a public address in their daily life. If they use the word stuff, they'll be made to look as if they're a chump. That phrase will be the one that's chosen to replay and play again. Shows they don't know much. Statesmen using the word stuff. And remember, these statements are not genuine, nor the placement of the people, the symbols behind, everything coordinated with the performance is done with a computer. One image after another.
See a system
And done in a way which plays on the psyche of the viewer.
that is overcrowded. It's overwhelmed.
Some of the
It's a system that is overcrowded, is overwhelmed. Well, then why not deport them back to their origin country? You, the taxpayer, is paying $775 a day to detain children. Under international law, there is nothing that adequates for the United States government to take children from their parents. There are details described in the UN Charter, along with the Geneva Accords, which outlines clearly the treatment that a refugee seeker, an asylum seeker, someone who is fleeing a difficult situation, usually due to war, how those people are to be treated. There's nothing in those agreements that specify a government is allowed to take children from their parents. There will be a price to pay, breaking international law. Right now, there could be a group of lawyers that took the U.S. president to court. There's no law that allocates for the United States of America to take children from their parents. $775 a day. Put them on a transporter, deport them in a moment's notice, soon as they're picked up, put them back in their origin country. Oh, they're fleeing a difficult situation? Put up a camp and pay $10 a day to keep them in the camp instead of $775 a day here in the United States of America. You people are going to go bankrupt. The equivalent of the $10,000 hammer, and there's a bit of overruns on the project. You people are paying the $10,000 hammer again and again and again and again, buying cases of them. $775 a day to keep a child at the Clint detention facility. Disgraceful.
cages, standing room only. The heat sweltering.
The cage is standing room only. No, it isn't. Those people sit down sometime. They're not forced to stand for day after day after day after day. For the simple reason, wouldn't be possible. Any of you ever done time in detainment? How long can they stand? Not forever. Sometime they sit down.
The smell overpowering.
The smell overpowering. The plague will be released. The USDIA plans on releasing the plague. No, the plague will not be contained to only the immigrant sector, the immigrant group of people. It will spread to others. The USDIA has conditioned the people now for years to accept that, oh, it's near. The plague is almost here.
The men
Any of you spend any time in detainment? Horrendous conditions, stench, odor that is so strong. Well, what's next? Disease. Where's the disease? Why do the people look like they aren't so dirty? How do they look like in detention after a couple weeks of no bathing? Does their hair get matted down? Does their clothes turn more dirty? Why is it that the people don't look like they're suffering such hardship? It looks miserable, but it doesn't look genuine in accordance with the description. It's in disaccordance.
have no ready access to
The images.
water, no cots to sleep.
They have no cots to sleep on. They have no access to... Was it water or was it a lawyer? Let's play it back again.
The smell overpowering. The men have no ready access to water.
No ready access to water. Ready access to water. What does that mean? That the detention officials bring buckets of water to the detainees? Or does that mean that there is no water and they drink bottled water, and they have no water to wash their hands nor flush the toilets. Spend any time in detainment? What happens if there's no water? Oh, it does fill with a stench because the toilet bowl fills up. And usually next to the toilet bowl is a fountain, usually right above, to wash their hands and drink and for all their other needs. Yankee detention.
No cots to sleep on, just the concrete floor. Some of them said they'd been here.
Some of the illegal migrants noted that they've been in the detention center, speak at a higher intellect level. The presentations, one after another, are done in a way to program the viewer. In doing so, the viewer reduces their intellect by being conditioned with the words you, we, they, when it should be the group illegal migrants. Take a look at 054. Again, watch the man in the background. He lifts his hand and he points at the head of the man that's standing in this front of the group. So take a look at 054. Take a look at the man in the very back, center of the screen. He picks up his hand and he points down to the one that's looking into the camera at the front of the group. Same thing as earlier on in the clip. I think it was around 24 seconds. What I'm bringing out is that it's not genuine. They're computer-generated images, one after another. The facial expressions, the movements, not genuine.
40 days.
So, we are not a terrorist. Okay, 50, it's not a genuine accent. If they look at 54 and they look at that man who pointed down, if they look at the man in the front of the group, he moves over towards the left side of the screen, and who appears is a man in red, a red shirt. Red represents the Red Revolution. Been around for a long while, and they didn't come up with a solution due to ungenuine leadership. One U.S. DIA operator after another placed as their leader. So they go to the next image, 056, and they have a man in black drab, and he says, he is not a terrorist. And what the viewer hears is, he is a terrorist. Another reminder of that group has terrorists.
The vice president also met with children.
The U.S. vice president also met with detained children. Doesn't sound so good. Describe the children as detained.
Being held in a different area.
Are you comfortable? Are you being...
Ridiculous. Are you comfortable? Are you being treated well? Asked the U.S. bozo. No, he's the assistant bozo at the show. Do the children even speak English? Well, that's not known. Just an ignorant question. Are you comfortable? Are you being treated well? That's not a question to ask children. Not in such a way.
well taken care of?
Pence is
Oh, and the child answers back, see? Well, how did the child understand if they don't speak English?
upbeat exchange in stark contrast to the chilling first-hand accounts of young detainees filed last month in federal court in California.
Appalling. Since when are children detained? Who did that in history? Who was known? Hitler? No. How about in the last 50, 60 years? Well, let's see. Hitler did. The concentration camps. Who else did that along the way? Did Idi Amin take the children from their parents? Maybe. How about Pol Pot? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, who else? Yankee Sam. Yankee America.
17-year-old from Guatemala told his court-appointed lawyer, it's always cold.
17-year-old, doesn't matter. He isn't a child. Yeah, he matters. The reason they put that after the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old is, they're all in the same group. The 17-year-old with the 3-year-old. And, well, listen to the statement from the 17-year-old, who is almost a legal adult.
In the cage.
Different from what we hear from many of the critics.
Different from what we hear, take out the we. Rephrase the sentence. Understand, anytime we is mentioned, segregate, everyone get into their group. Now receive the details.
I couldn't be more impressed with the compassionate work that our Customs and Border Protection are doing.
That U.S., not our Customs and Border. Who's our if he says us? Are they in the group of we? The one that's led by Don and Mike? Or are they in a different group? Oh, well, when that's ascribed to the country, then the other group is no longer in the country. They're not with we. That's the intention.
Doing here at this facility.
Democrats in
Understand the dialogue is not genuine. It's placed to brainwash the viewer.
Congress were close to tears as they described
Tears not genuine. Done with a computer.
what they witnessed at another Texas facility.
Imagine traveling thousands of miles in grueling and dangerous conditions because you have no other option.
No, not you. I'm not an illegal migrant. They do. Imagine the illegal migrant traveling in dangerous conditions, and then they reach the U.S. border, and then tell some more about them, they, the illegal migrant, and their woes, instead of you and how it goes.
Option only to be separated from your family.
It's not your family, it's their family, people. They're conditioning the viewer to think in the abstract. They need to, the viewer, perceive what is you. You as an illegal migrant. When they hear you, the listener, thinks I, me, and then they, process the description and allocate to a certain group the description. Whenever they can receive an impression of what means you, Y-O-U. It's a sleight of hand with words. It's not genuine, people. Wake up!
From your children, thrown into overcrowded cages, denied a shower, toothbrush, and
Denied a shower, toothbrush, done with computer generation.
Mr. Chairman, drink water out of the toilet.
Drink water out of the toilet. Where's the footage? Every square inch in there, and those detainment hold cells are filmed. They spend any time in detainment? Do anything wrong? Who was right there at the door? They just happen to be going by on patrol. They watch everything that goes on in the detainment hold cell. Where's the footage? I'm curious. Did the illegal migrants put their face into the bowl and use their tongue to lap up the water? Or did they use their hand and scoop up the water? I'm curious. Where's the footage?
With ICE now hoping to
With USICE.
round up some 2,000 undocumented immigrants this weekend.
2,000 illegal migrants out of 320 million people. This is all for show, people, listeners. And understand, this weekend, a hurricane named Barry, came in with a vengeance. Barry, about to arrive on the scene. Short for Barack. Gonna raise the banner there at Sacramento. Claim autonomy, the autonomous region of California, the breakup of the United States of America. Are you for that, listener? If you're not, then get out there. Rise up. Confront the U.S. government.
Advocacy groups are pushing back with protests like this one in cities across the country.
If they're not doing any harm and they're not breaking any law.
If they are not doing any harm, if they are not breaking any laws. No, start it out. If the illegal migrant is not breaking any laws, if the illegal migrant is not doing any harm. Well, wait a second. If the illegal migrant isn't breaking any laws, then how are they an illegal migrant? Then it wouldn't be appropriate to put that statement, would it? But the viewer listens to one computer-generated statement after another and receives a conditioned, programmed impression of what's going on.
Why should they get deported?
Why should they get deported? Because they're an illegal migrant. They broke the law. Yankee, give it a try. Go to another country. Go to Guatemala. I've done it. I was an illegal migrant in Guatemala. Sure, I needed to get north and I had no money. 6 months in prison if I were to be questioned by a Guatemalan law enforcement official. 6 months minimum. Could go for a couple years before I ever was brought before a judge.
Especially if they have kids.
And David Wright joins us now. David, what's...
Her indignant, especially if they have kids, especially if those illegal migrants have children. Kid is queer. Queer is kid. Doesn't have gender, doesn't have importance. Neither does child. Children have gender, though the group has importance. Kid is queer. Yankees' offspring.
the latest that we know about these immigration raids?
They've been conditioned to think this way.
Well, the president says those...
The U.S. citizen that no longer associates as a U.S. citizen, just another of the people. Part of them. You. Gonna migrate soon? Gonna be ushered into the underground. Enforced by the police state. Gun confiscation at the door. Ricochets. For everyone's safety. Check those guns in. Right there at the entranceway. Gonna make a promise. And if they believe Yankee Sam, well, go ahead, keep on doing so, and watch what happens at the end. Yankee Sam's nothing more than a backstabber, liar, traitor. Not going to return those guns.
Raids will happen tomorrow. 9 cities, we're told, on the list, but...
9 cities were told on the list. Well, why we? Why isn't it 9 cities are listed to carry out illegal migration raids?
2 cities, Houston and New Orleans, have been told not to worry. They have enough to deal with the hurricane. So.
They haven't been told not to worry. They've been notified not to worry. Who was notified? The officials in New Orleans and in the other city mentioned? Houston?
David Wright for us tonight. David, thank you.
David Wright for us tonight. David Wright for ABC News. Reporting live from the White House. David White, thank you. David White reporting for us. Everyone segregate into their group. Associate with we. That's the intention. You people are brainwashed through and through due to the dialogue. Computer-generated place dialogue. That's it for this episode. Our one only God. He helps me do this rhyme, line by line. Our Father in heaven. Allah. Our one only God. And yes, I do use the name Allah. I do believe that a majority of the 1.8 billion Muslims believe in a God, same God that I believe in, our one only God. They name our God Allah. I use often Father in heaven, though I do include, and I use the name Allah. I feel that is our God. The one that they pray to, I feel is the one that I pray to. And we can get along. Rise up! Confront the U.S. government. Around the world. Suppressive hand of Yankee ham. Oh no. And then there's spam and there's eggs. And what happened? It turned green. And no one wanted to eat. Yeah, sever that oppressive hand of Yankee Sam. Liberate their lands. Raise the revolution's banner. There at the palaces. No longer tolerate the tyrant bully, Yankee American. I do give thanks to our one only God. Big Boss Jock, signing off.